The Fort Worth Alliance Air Show attracted 45,000 people this weekend alone to raise money for charities and to salute our military. Great causes. And our man on the street or on the runway, Don Wall, got a chance to fly in a World War II era plane, and he joins us now with the fun details. Hey, Don.
Hi, Jeff. I got a chance to fly in a Japanese Zero with the Commemorative Air Force as it prepared to reenact the attack on Pearl Harbor. At events like this, we always try to find war veterans with stories to tell, and we found a Vietnam vet who's proud to tell his story to anyone who will listen.
Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay.
Any better?
Alrighty.
I'm gonna close you.
Okay.
I got to fly in a replica Japanese Zero with Dan Reedy as my pilot. The Zeros were built for the movie Tora Tora Tora, and they're flown by the Commemorative Air Force. During air shows, they recreate the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941.
We are a living history lesson. I do not know how much of this that they're still teaching in public schools. So everybody, including kids and adults, can come to an air show and learn about history. And that's why we're doing it. Every time we fly, we dedicate what we're doing to all the men and women in active military and the men and veterans of previous wars.
For our media flight, we flew over Fort Worth in tight formation, all the planes keying on the lead airplane.
We should never forget that we were attacked on December 7, 1941, just like we should never forget about 9/11, 2001. Lest we forget is the motto of the Commemorative Air Force, and so that's part of the mission that we're a part of.
People at the air show were thrilled by the T-38, the MiG-17, and the amazing aerobatic stunts of Sean Tucker in his biplane. And we met Bob Schrader, a Vietnam veteran, who actually trained on this very same Caribou back in 1963. He remembers swapping missions with a friend one day and listening on the radio as disaster struck.
I remember sitting in Nelson's airplane listening to mine take off, catch on fire, and we heard the Mayday. And in a couple of minutes, we heard a couple helicopter pilots say that they're all dead. And I sat there thinking, I'm a lucky man.
Schrader believes he was spared so that he could do what he's doing now, teaching a new generation about war and the key role played by aircraft.
It's a thrill for me to be a part of the people that keep airplanes up to honor our veterans, especially the Vietnam veterans. When we come back, it was not a pleasant, welcoming home back in the 60s.
Yeah, it's true. The Vietnam vets didn't get a very good welcome home, so every chance I get, I try to say thank you to the Vietnam vets, because the war wasn't popular, but the men and women who served, of course, were true heroes.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great story. He gets to do the most fun stuff, you know?
And you have a tough
jealous.
stomach.
I didn't feel anything. It
didn't bother you, huh?
Didn't bother me.
You didn't do any loop-the-loops or cartwheels?
No, we
or
didn't
anything?
spin around or anything like that.
Wow.
Now, Don, what about the sequester? We heard so much
Yes.
talk earlier this year about the sequester affecting air shows like this one.
Yeah, it had an impact because none of the military teams like the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds were there because of the sequester.
Wow.
And virtually all the Air Force bases, the major ones, have their own air shows, and none of them had air shows this year either because of the sequester.
I wonder if that's actually helped other air shows like the one at Alliance.
I don't think so, because, I mean, 45,000 people, I'm not quite sure how many they have on a
regular basis.
I think that was a little low, and people who've been there often thought that the amount of airplanes and displays and things like that was down also.
Really?
So I think the sequester has had a negative impact on air shows.
Well, I'm glad you were able to share the story then.
Yeah.
You have more people to see it.
Yeah, more people to see it, and it's always great to talk to those veterans. They have such great stories to tell, and we're so proud of them, and we should honor them every chance we get.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. Thanks, Don. Great story.